don't like that. It is so much it's easy. Life is so much better without a man that it's easier to be a single mother. It be the little things that drive me crazy. Dirty toilet seat, washing all them dirty drawers.
Her caption says, I will choose being a single mother over being with a man any day. I will choose being a single mother over being with a man any day.
Drive me crazy. Dirty toilet seat, washing all them dirty drawers. The constant cleaning and rearranging things. Putting things back in their place where it go, making your house look neat. You can tell when a man is living in your home, and I don't like that. It is so much easier for me to put me and my baby on a routine versus me, a
Oh my
baby, and a
goodness.
man. It just, ugh. I honestly don't know how you mothers with full families do it, for real. Even for the right man that helps out, that sounds like a lot of work. Like, I would rather just take care of me and my child. And to constantly sit there to be emotionally available for a man, to be physically available for a man, that is exhausting. Now, I'm going to highlight this part of the video. Of course, when you choose the wrong man, this is going to be exhausting. But going through that makes me turned off from all men. Like, literally. You don't help pay bills, you go to work and you talk to every bitch at the job. Going out late every weekend, drinking. Can't be loyal, can't clean after yourself, can't help, just no help. Me being a single mother now, me and my child has a routine. We're besties. I only have to clean up after her. Things stay intact in my home. It smells good. You can walk in my crib, smell, and see that there's no man present, and I love it that way. Life is so.
Wow. Boy, trauma is at an all time high. Even the way she outlined it, basically, you went through a situation of a guy that, let's be honest, a lot of the guys, there's a cognitive dissonance, right? There's plenty of perfectly fine guys out here, but a lot of times, what some ladies are attracted to is the worst of us. And how you can really see this is they literally have shows where it's about women getting with guys in prison, and then the women are taking care of those guys. Because she even mentioned the man that she's referring to didn't have a job and wasn't working and all this type of stuff. Yeah, these are the men that you're attractive to, but then the cognitive dissonance is that that's all men or something, and that's how she's framing it. But it's because there's a large segment of men who are invisible, because if guys don't necessarily check certain things that you're attracted to, then you're probably not even going to notice them. So you can't see all the good men out here, and really you don't want them either, because just say you want the whole package. Just say you want Mr. Perfect. And nobody's ever going to be perfect. You ain't perfect, clearly. And see, I get what you want and what you don't want. But when you decide to be a parent, it no longer becomes about what you want and what you don't want. And it then becomes about what that child needs. So you don't prefer a certain living arrangement or a certain family structure. But see, what's best for the child is to have that. And even when you go to court, for child support and all these type of things, they swear that everything they do, they got to do it in the best interest of a child. I've even seen cases when guys, the kid wasn't even theirs. And the courts will just say, well, the way we judge everything is what's in the best interest of the child. And the best interest of the child, even though this ain't your child, is for this child to have a father and somebody taking care of it. So you're still going to be on the hook. Okay. Well, it needs to be that way all the way across the board, because the statistics and the data is very clear that children do better in two-parent households, as well as really the father is a very instrumental piece. Because even when you look at children raised by single fathers as opposed to single mothers, there's typically much better outcomes for the children, at the very least raised by single fathers. But that doesn't discount the fact that the ultimate and best situation and scenario is where both parents are in the home. So it's about the child's development. It's about the child being reared correctly in a way that's going to be able to sustain the child for the long term. It's not about what you would prefer right now in with your lifestyle. A lot of people out here deciding to be parents but are selfish. What is it? Why? And then what we don't see is a lot of times they're living off assistance and swearing that they're independent and single and they prefer this. But then when the assistance expires and now we have certain legislation coming in that's making it much more harder for you to get it, then that sentiment no longer exists. People want to have these philosophies, but they don't want to take responsibility. I think that's incredible. Y'all, before we get into the next clip, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also if you could hype. But definitely if you can like, especially if you're here already, go ahead and just click that like button.
The trauma is seeping through the fucking phone.
Ladies, just because your mom was a single mom does not mean you have to do the same thing. You don't want better for yourself.
I'm glad y'all said it, because I feel like as the man, I'm
It's
not allowed to say
nothing
such
fire about being a single mom. This shit is hard, bro. So unless you want you and the baby to be crying together.
Hold on. Let's finish it.
Shit. No, yeah, though.
The trauma.
No, we need to address something that was just said. That's very problematic. Go back to that. Watch what this brother just said.
Want better for yourself.
I'm glad y'all said it, because I feel like as the man, I'm
It's
not allowed to say
nothing fire about being a single mom.
So basically, they just said the obvious, common sense truth. And this brother talking about something. I'm glad y'all said it. Because I feel like I wouldn't be able to say it. I feel like if I say it, I'm going to be basically attacked. Why is that? Why is it that we have a culture in a community to where if the men if the men say something that's factual and truthful and ultimately best for the future moving forward for you to get this information, why is it controversial and why is it something that has to be attacked? And why do they have to walk on pins and needles just to tell you the truth? The obvious truth. Why is that normal? Why is that normalized? And I can tell you why it's normalized. It's because you men allow it to be normalized. Just like this brother. He's skirting around. Oh, I'm glad y'all said it. What's that mean? What they're going to do about it if you say the truth? You just need to say the truth. It's just that simple. Because they need to get used to hearing it. Because it's problematic. And because the main person that's going to suffer in all this is going to be the children. And as men, it is our duty to protect children. Protect women and children. Even if that means protecting women from themselves. And if there's a woman like that first woman who has a philosophy like that, which is just goofy, then it sounds like she needs to be protected from herself because it was clearly a trauma response, ultimately of a decision that she made of a person that she decided to get with. But now she has this philosophy that's only going to affect her child. As well as it sounds like she's even open to still having more. But now she just wants to have the child and be single. We see tons of cases where people are deciding to be single, but still deciding that they want more children. And that's an issue. And somebody needs to say it. Somebody needs to say that's an issue. You are bat-ish crazy. And you don't care about your child because you're only thinking about yourself. Because if I sit here and I ask you, what do you think is best for the child? And if you tell me anything other than actually having a family, then only two things can be true. Either one, you're bat-ish crazy and you don't know no better and you don't need to have any autonomy over your life. Or two, you're being disingenuous and you know the truth, but you don't want to accept it or at the very least admit it. So you're being stubborn and egotistical, which also still goes into your selfishness and not thinking of your child.
By choice. And I'm going to let you hear about that. I believe women are being socially engineered.
The caption says, new trend, single moms by choice.
I believe women are being socially engineered to hate men, and men are being socially engineered to be gay. Don't at me. It's just what I see. I've picked up on it. They're just making men more and more effeminate, encouraging effeminate behavior. And so to further that initiative, there's been a movement originally started by, you guessed it, a psychoanalyst, and that movement is called Single Mothers by Choice. And I'm going to let you hear about that.
I don't really watch much of her stuff, but I see why she's so big now because she said that's the truth. That is absolutely the truth. That's the truth. I want to hear that again from the top.
I believe women are being socially engineered to hate men, and men are being socially engineered to be gay. Don't.
She said, I believe. I mean, you could tell from that first clip we watched. That woman clearly hates men. And yeah, it's a social engineering. It's something that's being constructed. She said women are being socially engineered to hate men, and men are being socially engineered to be gay. Wow.
At me. It's just what I see. I've picked up on it. They're just making men more and more effeminate, encouraging effeminate behavior. And so to further that initiative, there's been a movement originally started by, you guessed it, a psychoanalyst, and that movement is called Single Mothers by Choice. And I'm going to let you hear about that on a recent CBS episode in which they were celebrating Mother's Day. And so they decided to do that.
Hold on. Listen, man, I'm gonna help validate her point right here. She made a great point, man. I'm still pondering that. That was a great point.
Wow, you're looking awfully pink today.
Hold on. I want to try to validate her point because she said, the men are being socially engineered to be gay. Hold on. Because it's going to start at the youth now, right? It's going to start at the youth. So, I mean, this is probably going to validate her point right here. Look at this. Hold on. Let me go to this. Y'all tell me what you think.
Getting richer. He shoot a shot, no hezzy. Let him in cause that nigga be ready.
Hold on. I think this is a straight dude right here. From his other stuff that I see. Look at his dance. I gotta cut that music out. Look at this. This is a dance that I be seeing straight young men doing. Look, he dropped it like it's hot. Look at this. This is a dance that all the kids are doing. All the young men are doing.
By showing single mothers by choice. Take a listen.
In honor of Mother's Day this Sunday, we're taking a look at a growing trend in motherhood, women becoming single moms by choice.
I said to myself, in 15 to 20 years, would I be more upset that I didn't have a kid or more upset that I didn't fall in love and get married? And I was like, if I didn't have a kid, for me, I feel like my life wouldn't be as fulfilled.
But you do wonder, and I'm just...
Ma'am, the kids are not for your fulfillment. Kids are not to make you feel better. A lot of these women are looking at kids like how they look at dogs, little poodles. The kids are props. The kids are accessories. Because you're not thinking of what's best for your child. It's not about you anymore. It's not about your fulfillment. It's about that child's fulfillment. Do you think the child is going to feel fulfilled when the child is seeing other people with two-parent households, or do you think the child is going to feel like it missed out on something? Is missing out on a piece of who they are. You'll see grown folks who have never met their other parent or their father or whatever, and they spend their whole life trying to track down their father, even if they know their father didn't want nothing to do with them or even whatever. Are you thinking about that? Are you thinking about that trauma of never having a parent? And listen, that can organically and naturally happen just by some circumstances, but to be intentionally making that choice, I think it's wild, and I think it shows that you're not thinking about the child. Ultimately, you're thinking about yourself, and really, you're probably just lonely, and so you need something to help you cope.
Upset that I didn't have a kid or more upset that I didn't fall in love and get married. And I was like, if I didn't have a kid, for me, I feel like my life wouldn't be as fulfilled.
But you do wonder, and I'm just going through this in my head right now, what about the men that are being raised in those environments? So mom decides to be a single mom. She picks, in America, you can choose gender. I'm going to have boys only. How do those men fare in society? Well, take a listen to one such case.
Brothers Mackenzie and Cooper Schoenthaler were chosen by their mother, a doctor, more than 2 decades ago. She had them at 41 and 45 using the same donor.
Didn't see our parents cry, and scream and throw things, and because there weren't two parents.
How has that impacted your own relationships by not seeing tension, by not seeing people work through those same things that you spoke of?
I think that I am more conflict avoidant than other people as a result because I was raised in a household with zero conflict. Perhaps that's one of the drawbacks.
Gay.
She said gay. That's funny. But yeah. But also, you see, look at the trauma. There's going to be trauma because the world works in one way and you're intentionally deciding to have your kids in another way that fits you instead of what fits the conventional way to raise a child that's been proven and has a track record of being effective, more effective. It's just that simple. Her caption says, being a single mom is a choice.
The hardest things to be in life is a mom, let alone a single mom. And women are out here actively choosing to be a single mom rather than be with these niggas. Let me say that again. We are actively choosing to be single moms than to deal and put up with a fucking nigga. And the first thing a man like to say is, oh, that's why you a single mom. Bitch, that was a choice. I can call a nigga right now today. He will eat my coochie off the ground if I dropped it. All right. The hardest things to be in life.
And see, it's crazy, right? Because she addressed what it could look like by you trying to decide. Her main thing, the woman we were just watching, was that men are going to be effeminate by being raised just by a woman without a father. But then what we don't get is the other side, as well as what happens when women are raised without fathers. And apparently we don't see that as problematic. But when women are typically raised by fathers, sometimes they say wild-ish like this, and they have no tact and no decorum.
I can call a nigga right now today. He will eat my coochie off the ground if I dropped it. All right. I can call a nigga right now today. He will eat my coochie off the ground if I dropped it. All right.
What women do you know that have a father that they respect, admire, and honor that go around saying, I can call a ninja right now and he will eat my smoothie off the ground if I dropped it? I don't even hear pirates talking that vulgar. Who says stuff like that? Online. Picks up a camera and says something like that online and it's going to live forever. Imagine she goes to a job interview. Imagine it's an interview and it's a job, a good career. You got to do 4 rounds of interviews. She makes it all the way to the 4th round. She makes it to the 4th round. She's feeling good. She done cold switched. Cold switch means she acts and talks like this in her free time and online, but then she can be professional at work. And so she can make it work. But then she done got to the final interview and they're telling her the whole time, you are the best candidate we've had in years. You're just firing on all cylinders. And then she gets to the final interview and then they say, well, dang, you were the perfect fit, but we just have to ask you a question about something that we came across online when we were doing your background. Do you mind explaining this clip from 2 years ago and just kind of letting us know what was your mindset when you made this? Just what was going through your mind? Just walk us through this.
It was a choice. I can call a nigga right now today. He will eat my coochie off the ground if I dropped it. All right. The hardest thing.
She gonna be like, she ain't gonna have no words. They're gonna be like, yeah, we thought so. We didn't think you would be able to PR that. Yeah, it looks bad. And we were actually gonna have you in a front facing role, and we just can't allow anyone to recognize you because that video it's gained so much traction. It's got millions of views. I didn't know. I'm not on TikTok, but someone brought it to my attention. If someone can bring it to my attention, then I feel like it's definitely possible that a client could recognize you. So I think that for that reason, everything was so great. We were looking forward to it. We had a bonus for you and everything. But for that reason, I think we're going to have to go with someone else. And then they're going to be walking around the office. They were like, "Did you let her down good?" And they were like, "Yeah, she took it well." She was like, "Yeah, she's talking about they can eat her coochie off the ground." And they're going to be laughing about you around. You're going to be the laughing stock of that office. Remember, eat my off the ground girl? Oh, yeah, I remember her. What are you representing? You don't got nothing to represent, nothing to be proud of, nothing to be held to. Saying things like that online. You should be ashamed of saying stuff like that online. That shames you. That sounded so disgusting. Especially coming from a lady's mouth. We know you don't want a man. Because what type of man is about to be out here being proud of the fact that he's with you and you got something online where you're saying you can call up any ninja and they're going to eat you off the ground if you drop it? And this is the problem. This is why it's much more effective to raise children correctly. Because then they grow up and they talk like this, act like this, carry themselves like this.
Can a woman choose to be a single mother? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Some women even do it all by themselves. They go to a bank.
To me, if you aren't married or anything like that, when you decide that you want to have that baby and you aren't married, you are deciding to be, in essence, a single mom. No. Because if you don't want to be a single mom, you can decide not to be a single mom.
What is your purpose on this?
See, and look at this. And this is the problem. Look at how visceral they're reacting. Those other two, in my opinion, what it's appearing like, weak men. You got a strong man saying what it is, saying the truth, and they're just reacting. The other dude, he's like, oh, coward. And then you got this dude, and he's about to try to oppose it because he's not going to put himself out there like that and expose himself for righteousness.
Planet.
Hold on.
Your purpose as a man is to protect and provide your family.
We get that, but that's not the
child
question.
is your family, regardless of what you say after she gets pregnant. That is your responsibility.
Wait.
You do not get to negate your role on this planet as a man and as a father. That wasn't the question, Tahoe.
That is. Okay, well, I might have misunderstood what they were arguing about. I thought they was arguing about her making a choice to be a single mom, but it looks like they're arguing about a man taking responsibility, which I agree a man should take responsibility. So I might have misread the situation since, I mean, we didn't get the full context of the full clip. But let me just see. Let's just make sure.
Not a choice. She cannot choose that. I do not choose to walk away from my children. I do not choose to walk away from my offspring. I agree. That's who I am. It's what I'm here. I don't. But this clothing and cars and all that. You're here to raise your family.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. I became a father at 17. I agree with you 100%. But when we talking about the choice, if a woman solely can make the choice not to become a single mom when she figures out she's pregnant, she's got options, a few of them.
That's a man.
Then hold on.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. They're talking about the difference between keeping the child, I think, or whatever. So yeah, that wasn't on top of what we were talking about today. So I don't have the full context, so I don't want to talk about it.
So I have been getting questions in my inbox about why I decided to become a single mom by choice and what is her ethnicity. So first, why I became a single mom by choice. I already have a 13-year-old son. Once I had him, I was like, we're good. I'm good with just me and him. But in 2020, I actually was in a relationship or situationship, something. And I became pregnant with my second son. Unfortunately, January.
It's problematic that you don't know the difference, or you're just not being honest about the difference of whether you were in a relationship or a situationship. Ma'am, you know what it was. If you were in a relationship, you would know you was in a relationship. It sounds like you know you was in a situationship, but you just don't want to just explicitly say that. And so you still want to give the mystique. Just say you was having fun. It's a lot of y'all out here having fun, just doing whatever you want in situationships with guys. It's normal now. That's the new landscape. It's more normal than you think. So just be honest. If you're gonna come on and tell the story time, just go ahead and just tell the truth. Just go ahead and tell, because nobody told you to come on here and tell your business. But if you're gonna tell it and you're gonna try to be helpful, and tell your story so that other people can relate, just go ahead and just be forthright. It's all right.
2021, I lost him due to incompetent cervix, and my water broke. So after that, I really just was like, okay, I really wanted another child. But my relationship ended. And so I decided that, being that I turned 40 and last year, and no prospects at that time of a relationship or anything, or marriage or anything like that, I decided I'm going to do this on my own. So that's exactly what I did. I actually went through 3 rounds of IUI because my insurance covered it, but they didn't work. So I went through IVF to conceive her. As I don't know where this top is, as far as her ethnicity, I wanted an African American donor. However, it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. There's not that many. And then on top of that,
oh my gosh, this story just keeps getting worse and goofier. She was that desperate. She done got a little Venezuelan donor or something. Ma'am, she said she couldn't find an African American donor. Yeah, you don't need to find those. Shoot, they're out in the wild. This dude's out here real reckless. I don't think it's that many, but the ones that are, they're not hard to find, and they don't mind having 21 kids. Here's my thing. Again, I feel like she was looking at her life. I feel like she was in her house. She had her career. She had everything. I feel like she was lonely. I feel like that's what it came down to. And then she started feeling that urgency, and she knew this was going to be her only opportunity. And so she decided to just go ahead and do this rash thing. And then when she figures out that it was her problem and this child's going to come with things, it's not going to be cute forever. And then eventually you're still going to be left with yourself. Because I feel like people are looking for external things in order to fulfill them internally. And so they wake up one day, they're not happy. And then they're like, oh, I know what it is. I need to have a baby. Otherwise, I won't be happy. And then you're going to have this baby. You're going to realize you're still not happy. And then you're not going to look within yourself and say, okay, I need to fix me. Now she's going to be like, well, this didn't do what I thought I was going to do. So now I do want a man. I think if I just have the man, if I just complete the family, then I'll be happy. But then you're going to be trying to go after some black dudes with your Venezuelan baby. And he's going to be like, nah, I'm okay. The optics just look crazy. You need to work on yourself. Stop looking for outside things to give you fulfillment and give you peace. Notice I didn't say happiness. Happiness is fleeting. You're going to be happy sometimes, even with your situation. Even if you're not fulfilled, there's going to be happy moments with your baby. But if you want to be at peace, you got to find that within yourself. But hey, listen, if that's what you want to do, but again, I can't say if that's what you want to do because this child is going to have to deal with it. I mean, honestly, if you really just want to go this far, I would say don't intentionally do it. Just go adopt. Then that, there can't be no, listen, a child would be better off having a parent than no parent. But to actually bring a child into this world and choose not to have a man, and for them to help you raise them, and ultimately for them to be raised normally and the right way, I think that's selfish and I think it's crazy.
After all the testing, Lord, we cannot keep socks. After all the testing that I did for IVF, I ended up being CMV negative. I'm not really sure what it is, but I wasn't exposed to it, or I hadn't been exposed to it, so I had to choose a CMV negative donor. With that being said, that made the search even smaller. So her donor is actually Arabian Lebanese in that genre.
Oh my gosh.
Her donor is kind of olive skin tone. So I figured with my melanin, his olive skin tone, she would get a little color to her maybe later on, but right now she is light skin. And
she done win it. Oh my goodness. She done went and had a little Arabian Indian baby. Ma'am. See, and y'all don't even be paying attention to the signs. All the signs are trying to tell you, turn around. Don't go through with this. Stop while you're ahead. They're putting all the friction, all the hurdles in your way. The last thing, you got the last thing on the shelf. You got the last sample on the shelf that they had. Everything was gearing you to turn back. And she still done went through with it. Man, it's like even when you make all the right decisions, some people just go looking for self-inflicted wounds. They just have to get it. They just have to find it. Like a needle in the haystack. I can't believe that. So she done had an Arabian baby. And I think she said she had another kid. She already had another kid. Y'all, we're going to leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second. And it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video. Hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice if you want to hype to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And then also, if you want to become a member of the channel, join buttons on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments where it will show people that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. So again, if you want to become a member, join buttons on the video. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.